grown man business. Tap in or you can tap out, but you know my slogan. Know what I suggest? And I suggest you tap in. So let's get right into it. Now, listen, man, you already know what time it is. Still on the road right now, over the road. Um, Actually somewhere in Texas right now, about to dock into a hub, couple of hours. So I figured, hey man, I'm in Texas. It's a lot going on with, the Dollar Tree Cotton Boys and the Prince family and the Migos and Offset and all that. So let's tap in. Let's get right into it now. First and foremost, salute. Hey, if you can hear me clearly, let me know, man. Put 100 in the chat real fast, little homie. If you already, I see somebody's already in here. If you can hear me clearly through the mic and everything, go ahead and put 100 in the chat. Let me know you can hear me. 10-4. All right, so let's get right into it, man. Salute to everybody that's going to come into the chat. Salute to everybody that's going to come in afterwards. The analytics say a lot of people come in afterwards and watch the chat. The truckers, the overnight workers. You feel what I'm saying? So it's a lot going on right now. It's a lot going on right now, my cheese. It's getting deep. It's getting wicked, and it's always deep in the rap when you scratching the surface. And you already know, man. We definitely scratching the surface, right? So you know, the Prince family went on $2 million worth of game recently. We all saw the interview, I'm sure, and they did a lot of explaining. They did a lot of talking. And I ain't gonna lie, man, it was red flags all over the field. Red flags all over the field. My wheels instantly began turning at the thought of the whole Prince family giving their explanation and their detailed, thoughts on the situation with Offset. I ain't gonna lie, it didn't feel right. Something just didn't feel right. It was definitely a desperate move watching these guys, Jay Prince, such a high fixture, a staple in hip hop, coming all the way down to $1 million worth of game to explain itself and also to make threats. You know, if you can see through the smoke and mirrors, you can understand that these guys are desperate right now. They know what's on the way, they know what's coming, and they're right now shuffling their feet, trying to do anything that they can do to change the narrative. You understand me? Now, it's a lot to break down in that interview, but I'm gonna just home in on a few points. You understand me? Now, listening to Jay Prince Jr. break down the night that Takeoff got taken off this earth by details. I mean, detail by detail, almost sound like he was in an interrogation room. These guys hasn't made any statements to the police yet. They haven't talked to the police. They haven't made any statements to the police, but they come to Gillie and Wallo to give real life statements. You understand me? I mean, wicked, wicked, right? Then you got Jay Prince. You got Jay Prince Senior. You know, uh, talking about Migo bands, talking about calling them a clown and saying a whole bunch of other things, man, that was just red flags to me. There's no way a Jay Prince Sr. would come down to $1 million worth of game and give all that information up if his back wasn't to the wall. They try not to let you see him sweat, but when you can see through the smoke and mirrors, you see that they were sweating. They had to take time out of their busy schedules to come sit down with Gillie and Wallo, two clowns. Gillie is a clown, Wallo is a clown, respectfully, and they had to take time out of their busy schedules to come sit down with Gillie and Wallo and explain themselves. Oh, we're gonna get deep into this angle, man, before we jump off into Offset. Now, why are they explaining themselves? Because if you ask me, the RICO charges is coming. One thing for sure, two things for certain. The higher ups and elites, they don't waste a chance to wipe you out. They're not going to waste the opportunity to get at you. And they've been trying to get at Jay Prince Sr. for a long time. He been ducking and diving. He been moving and sliding. He done got in bed with a few people. So he saved himself. But them people, the higher ups and elites, been trying to get their hands on this family for a long time. And they're not going to let Duke the Jeweler and Takeoff, they're not going to let those bodies slide, man. When the authorities get quiet, that's when you got something to worry about. And you got to understand that before the information gets to the public, before the information comes out to us, they get privy to the information. Somebody told them, listen, man, they coming for y'all. It's nothing we can do about it. It's nothing we can do. I know we did the press conference. We got DJ Pat. We got all these things to try to shift the narrative off of you guys. But the higher ups and the elites, they ain't been fooled yet, man. And they still looking at y'all. And they want y'all. Y'all got to shift the narrative. But see, I want to be the first one to say this, man, because I've been scrolling, I've been combing through YouTube. I've been looking at videos here and there to see what people thought, see the perspectives, right? And I want to be the first one to say this. It's nothing that you could do. It's nothing that the Prince family can do to change the narrative. There is nothing they can say to make us believe, the people, to make us believe that they didn't have something to do with the situation. It's nothing that they can do. It's nothing that they can say to wipe this stain off of their jacket, my G. You understand me? Like Duke the Jeweler, a lot of us didn't know who he was until his untimely demise. But Takeoff was the body that took the cake, my G. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. Takeoff. That's like smoking one of the Beatles. And you know, when you are up on a high level like that, when you are such a staple in hip hop, you might not have pulled the trigger. But if that guy was with you and he was under your wing and he was under your supervision and something like that happens to him, one of the big dogs is going to pay. One of the big dogs is going to pay. You know, I don't know what the Prince family thought. I don't know what they thought going on $2 million worth of game was going to do. I'm sure that they sat down with their public relations people and their PR people, and they had a whole big discussion, and they was trying to, and they convinced them, hey, y'all need to go talk to Gillie and Wallo. This can actually shift the narrative. We got to get the narrative shifted. You guys are desperate right now to shift the narrative. Go on to million, but that was actually a bad move, man. And a lot of the times, you know, the majority of the people don't see it that way. But for some reason, in this day and time, it's a lot of people with their third eyes open. It's a lot of people that's able to see through the smoke and mirrors, my G. So it's a lot of people that's looking at that interview and saying something ain't right, man. It's not going to age well. That interview is not going to age well. That interview didn't do anything positive for their image. It actually make them look desperate. It make them look like some suckers. It make people look at the Prince family like, if y'all didn't have nothing to do with this situation, why are y'all still talking about it? Because it's bigger than Takeoff when it comes to them. Takeoff is gone. So all they're worried about is what their last name is being, how it's being represented, how people look at the Prince family, and we look at them with disgust. We are literally and utterly disgusted with the thought of the Prince family. Most people out here are disgusted at the thought of the Prince family because of how the structure out there in Houston is. How the Prince family is the biggest family in Houston when it comes to hip hop. How they make all the hip hop artists check in Houston. You know, any hip hop artist that comes into Houston, you see them end up at one of Jay Prince's birthday parties. You see them ending up at one of their clubs. You see them doing drops for Mob Ties. They have to check in with this family. And then you get somebody like a Takeoff, RIP to Takeoff. Go out there, check in with this family, and get his top ramen noodles blown all over the place in front of this bowling alley. So it's nothing. And I want to say that again. I want to say that, you know, with some authority and with some passion. It is nothing that this family can do to wipe that stain off. I wouldn't care what interview. I wouldn't care if you went and sat down with Oprah Winfrey. I wouldn't care if you got on CNN. I wouldn't care what news outlet you got on, my G, to talk about this and to try to convince us that you guys are somehow innocent or you guys are somehow, you know, washed clean of this situation. Nah, Takeoff's blood is on your hands, my G. And I want to, you know, at the end of the day, I have to speak on this situation, man. Salute to everybody in the DM. Salute to all the day one investors. Salute to all the day one subscribers that tap into the DM and say Big G and BTV, the Oracle. And don't you forget the TV, and you better always remember the Oracle. What do you think about this situation, man? We know you don't want to go too deep into it because, like I said, man, when I was doing those videos when it first happened, when this situation first happened to take off, I was dropping videos that was getting 60 to 70,000 views in a day or two. And I got a phone call. I got a phone call from somebody that I highly respected, somebody that I've looked up to my whole life, man. And this person was literally and utterly afraid. Take the videos down, X, Y, and Z. And it made me think twice, like, yo, the Prince family is powerful. So I'm not going to say anything disrespectful. I'm going to say everything respectfully when it comes to this family. But I'm going to speak on the situation. Going on $1 million worth of game made y'all, it exposed y'all furthermore for whatever y'all are trying to hide, my G. It is nothing you can do. It is nothing you can do to clean this stain off your jacket. You got to wear this for the rest. It's over. It is absolutely over, my G. There is no way you're gonna go back to what it was before Takeoff was taken off this earth. You understand me? So let's get a little deeper into this angle now. You know, it's been reported that Quavo and Offset had a physical altercation, man. They had a physical altercation last night at the Grammys. You feel me? They were doing a tribute, a tribute. You know, if you ask me, that was Quavo's initiation. Yeah, that was Quavo's initiation to the other side. That was Quavo's initiation to the other side, and Offset's not with that. Offset is still grieving. We gonna get into that. And you know, they say that Offset wanted to be a part of the tribute. He wanted to be a part of the situation, but I believe Offset used that situation to get close to Quavo. He wants to look Quavo in his eyes. He wants to disrespect him with his eyes. He wants to look at him and look into his soul. You understand me? Because Quavo's no longer grieving, man. Quavo's now monetized this whole situation. He's now making money off of Takeoff's death. He's made a tribute song that's streaming on all streaming platforms. He's doing the Grammys now. He's, you know, he's everywhere with this situation, and he's gonna milk this cow the best way he knows how. He's gonna milk this situation, right? And Offset has nothing to do with that. Offset's not making a dime off of Takeoff. Offset doesn't have anything to do with the Migos. And I believe that Offset wanted to, get within 6 feet of Quavo and chastise him. Chastise him. Sometimes you can just look at somebody with such filth and such disgust that it goes into their soul. They can't take it. And the reports are saying that, Quavo said he didn't want Takeoff. He didn't want Takeoff involved. He didn't want to see Takeoff. He didn't want Takeoff nowhere around him. You feel me? And a physical altercation broke out. One thing for sure, two things for certain. You got to understand something, man. There, for the last 15 to 20 years, you don't see all of these rappers showing up at the Grammys. For the last 15 to 20 years, you've only seen rappers boycotting the Grammys. But for some reason, this particular Grammy ceremony, every rapper, every star, every hip hop artist was in attendance. On stage, you had a big long table, a feast with all the food and all the trimmings. And you had Rick Ross, you got Jay-Z, you got Quavo, you got all of these rappers. Because Takeoff was a sacrifice, my G. For Quavo to remain famous, for Quavo to remain relevant, for Quavo not to be pushed to the other side, he had to sacrifice the closest thing to him, and he did that. And they used the Grammy Awards last night. It was very satanic, man. Like, I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. When you can see through the smoke and mirrors, man, it's so crazy because, before you become aware, before you become exposed to these situations, you look at these award shows and you enjoy them just like everybody else. But when you can see through the smoke and mirrors, man, You see all the satanic, all the rituals, and I watched some of it, and you know, Quavo was initiated into the dark side last night. He paid his dues with Takeoff, and he's been now initiated. Now Offset, not quite. Now we're gonna get into that. Offset chose his family. Offset chose his business. Offset, why now Cardi B, we are, you know, that's another story. But Offset, he's fighting the demons right now. Offset is fighting. He's treading the line right now between good and evil, and he's trying to stay on the side of good. That's what he's trying to do. And because he's trying to stay on the side of good, you got Jay Prince Senior making threats on $1 million worth of game. I mean, he made some threats to Offset, and I'm gonna do a video where you know how I do. I'm gonna get into these clips, and we're gonna double back, and we're gonna get deeper into these angles because I got some clips, and I'm gonna break this down into a video. But I had to go live. You know, I'm on the road, and something in my spirit said, "Go ahead and go live and talk about this." Offset is thread. He's on a thin line right now. And because he's not picking the side of evil, he's going to be shunned from the industry. He's going to be shunned and pushed away from Quavo. There's no reconciliation that's going to come from this because he's not choosing the dark side. Now, let me break this down for you. Quavo responded to Jay Prince, right? To the $1 million worth of game. And he said, you know, if I got something to say to you, I'm gonna say it to you. I'm gonna say it straightforward. Why are you still doing interviews? You and your family done did 4 or 5 interviews talking about Takeoff. Y'all don't care about the family. Y'all don't care about his mama. Y'all still talking about this situation, and we ain't said nothing about it. You understand? He said that because, you know, that's what he said, and he said a few other things. Now, Quavo has monetized the situation. Quavo is making money. Quavo is acting like he's grieving, but he's happy. He's elated to have stepped into the other side, taken it to the other side of the industry. Offset and Jay Prince Sr. are having this issue because Jay Prince Sr. is saying he's getting word that Offset is trying to line one of them up. Offset wants war. Offset wants something to happen behind what took place with Takeoff. Now, you would think that Quavo would want the same thing, being as though he was actually there when Takeoff got popped up. He was right there when Takeoff got his top ramen noodles blown all over the place. You would think that Quavo would want that kind of war, but he don't. Offset does. And you know, Jay Prince said in the interview, you know, don't make me have to defend myself because that won't work out good for you. You know, he said that because Offset behind the scenes, man. Now, I'm not sure how privy Offset is to the art of war. But when you're making strategic war moves and you're setting up, you know, a flank over here and you're setting up a ambush over there, you don't tell your friends, you don't tell people, you don't talk about it. And obviously, Offset has been talking about the things that he wants to do to the Prince family, the things he wants done. And I ain't gonna lie, you know, I'm not really rocking with the Dollar Tree Cotton Boys. I'm not rocking with Jay Prince and them boys. I was just in Houston. I didn't spend a dime in Houston. I'm not rocking with Houston, just like I ain't rocking with LA. But I'm gonna tell you this: one thing for sure, two things for certain. Jay Prince got a big bag. So you got to understand, any and everybody that's near you and around you is already compromised because he has such a big bag. He has so much resources. He'll make the homie standing right next to you tell him everything for the right price. And that's what happened. Somebody went back and told Jay Prince Sr., hey man, Offset wants war. And I've been saying this from the jump, bro. When something like that happened, ain't no more talking. We can't talk it out after that. We can't reconcile after that. There's nothing you can do to fix that except for a body to drop. And it gotta be the right body. I'm talking about one of your sons gotta go. And I gotta say, man, I respect Offset for standing on that business. You know what I'm saying? For standing on that business. Me and him thinking like I want war after that. I don't want to talk. I don't want to go on podcasts. I don't want to go back and forth on the net. I want war. Quavo, man, if you ask me, it's over for him. The only way he's going to make it in this industry, the only way he's going to be able to do anything in this world is with the dark side. He has to stay over there with those people. He has to stay over there, right? So that's what the response. That's what I took from the response. What I listened to listen to Offset respond, Jay Prince Jr. and Jay Prince family, and I listened to Jay Prince Sr. Speak on Offset. It's really nothing more that can be done but a war. Somebody got to fall. Somebody would have to fall. That's it. That's it. That's grown man business right there. Eye for eye, tooth for a tooth. Sometimes you can turn the other cheek, but on this occasion right here, somebody got to fall. You understand? So I'm curious. We all sitting back and watching this thing, and you got to know when you dealing with the high erupts in the elite. I told you before. I said this. You got the circus, and then you got the calm. You got them 3 C's. You got chaos, the circus, and the calm, my G. And right now, it's calm. But I believe that the circus is going to start back up. It's going to turn right back into a circus. It's going to turn back into a circus because the high erupts and the elites, they're not going to let this ride, my G. They're sitting back, the feds, the RICO, all of that. They're sitting back and they're watching. Oh, and when and you got to know, when they let that RICO out, it's going to explode all over social media. It's going to be a circus. That's what the higher ups and the elites live for. That's what they use these situations for. You don't just make a sacrifice. You make a sacrifice and then you capitalize off it. And then you capitalize off it more. And then you turn it into a circus and you capitalize off that. So something's going to happen. Go back and look at the $1 million worth of game interview. Look how jittery them boys is. Look how nervous them boys is. Look, listen to their voices and how they explaining them. What would make these dudes feel like they need to explain detail by detail to Gillie and Wallo? You got to be able to see through the smoke and mirrors, man. You got to be able to see through the smoke and mirrors. These dudes, Jay Prince Jr. was literally it was almost like he was being interrogated by Gillie and Wallo. He literally was explaining every detail of that day to some podcasters. What mob do that? What mob will come and get onto a podcast and get to talking about an open murder case? What mobsters do that? Desperate mobsters. Yeah. A desperate mob will figure out a way and come to our podcast or open and talk about an open case. They desperate right now. And it is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be. You got to stand on grown man business. And what happened to Takeoff is going to take more than a DJ Pat. Oh, this body is too big for a fall guy. Don't y'all know that? I don't think these people, I don't think anyone really understands that. This body is too big for a fall guy. You can't just pick a fall guy and think that you're going to be able to sweep Duke the Jeweler and Takeoff under the rug with a fall guy. Another thing is, look at how Jay Prince Jr. was speaking on Lil Boosie. You got to be able to see through the smoke and mirrors, my man. You got to really, really read between the lines. Look how Jay Prince Jr. was throwing Lil Boosie under the bus.
I didn't know who Duke the Jeweler was, because he was standing next to Lil Boosie. And he didn't get killed the night we was gambling. He got killed right after the Lil Boosie concert. Lil Boosie, Lil Boosie, Lil Boosie, Lil Boosie.
Them boys is shaking in their boots. It's totally against the rules of the game to get to talking about an open case like that on a podcast, saying names, giving detail, no timestamps. It's against the law. It's against the rules. But when you know your empire is crumbling, when you know that your empire is crumbling right before your eyes, you feel me? You're gonna make desperate moves, my G, and that's what's going on right now. And again, I'm not gonna be long because I'm deep. I'm deep in Texas right now. I'm actually in Texas. You know, I get a lot of money riding through Texas. I ain't gonna lie. Texas is one of them hubs that when you're on your way to the West Coast, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna stop in Texas, right? But when it come to what happened to Takeoff, man, somebody got to pay for that. Quavo, it ain't enough tribute songs. You can't make enough tribute songs to pay for that. You can't make enough videos for us to think that you really care about what happened to that man. When I listen to Offset, I really realize Offset is upset about that situation. Offset is grieving for real, man. And Offset want bloodshed. Salute to that man. So listen, man, y'all be on the lookout for the video. Last but not least, before I shoot out, right? I just did a video. I'm gonna drop it. It's real. It's gonna be y'all gonna like this video. It's funny. But rats versus mice. Rats versus mice, man. You got Hassan Campbell, you got 1090 Jake, you got people all in my DM saying Big G and BTV. What do you think about the situation with 1090 Jake and Hassan Campbell? And if you ask me, they both are rodents, B, but they're both rats and they're both mice. One's a rat, one's a mice, but they all do the same thing. And I'm gonna break it down in this video. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just having fun with this thing, man. I'm gonna have fun with this one. But be on the lookout for this video, man, because I'm gonna go into detail a little more about this whole situation with Takeoff. With Offset and Jay Prince. You got so much to say towards Takeoff. Jay Prince got so much to say towards Offset. He really feeling the way about Offset, but that's really because he nervous about that Rico coming, and because he can't fight the feds, he can't beat the feds, he can't go to war with the feds. He taking that anger out, and he taking that frustration out on Offset. Offset has all right to be upset. He has all right to want war. And you would think a Jay Prince would be saying, "Hey man, we love Takeoff. We didn't want nothing." Takeoff wouldn't want you going to war with his bro, with his cousin, his uncle, or whatever they are to each other. Hey man, we love Takeoff. We wanna, we wanna figure out who did this to Takeoff the same way y'all want to figure it out. And we'll put any amount of money up. We'll put any amount of guns on the street. We're gonna make sure somebody pays for this. That's what Jay Prince is supposed to be saying. We're gonna make sure somebody pays for this. We didn't have nothing to do with it. But because something is not right, and I'm not gonna say I'm just gonna say because something is not right, they're now defensive. Always be wary of somebody that becomes defensive in a situation like this, or any situation. Where does the defense mechanism come in is because you're hiding something. You feel like you need to be defensive because you're hiding something. You understand? Anybody that had nothing to do with this body is not going to get defensive, man. I had nothing to do with it. It's nothing you can show or prove that I had anything, bruh. So, it's only going to get wicked from here. And I'm going to tell you, we all watching, we all see it, we all got our eyes on it. It's only going to get wicked from this point. And like I said, man, I think I'm gonna drop this video. I'm gonna drop this video today. Uh, um, 1090 Jake and Hassan Campbell, because you got some people that rock with Hassan but not rocking with 1090 Jake. I don't really rock with near one of them. But you know, at the end of the day, you can't rock with Hassan Campbell and then you can't not rock with 1090 Jake but rock with Hassan Campbell. They both rats. They both, and I got, and in the video, I'm a break. I got the clips. Wait, I know y'all love the clips that I chop up. Wait till the clips in the middle of the video, and you'll be able to see that these dudes both talk. They both tell. They both rat. Mice and rats. Mice versus rats. That's gonna be the name of the video. Salute to everybody that's in the channel, man. You know, I see the live stream and all that, but because I'm on the road, because I am driving, I can't really home in and read the messages. So I'll do that once I'm done. Salute to all the day one investors. Salute to everybody that's invested in the channel. You know, 15,000 strong, baby. We 15,000 strong, baby. It is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. We growing this channel organically. Organically. You understand? And if these artists and these rappers understood how to grow their situation organically, they wouldn't have to make sacrifices. They wouldn't have to, you know, walk through one of the Nori doors. They would literally be able to just grow their careers organically. But when you do it organically, it take a little more time. When you do it organically, it take a little more time, my G. You know, we all want the money fast, but you got to understand that the money is going to come if it's money that you're looking for. Whatever it is you're looking for is going to come, but you got to be able to do it organically. The world is going to try to give it to you fast. They're going to give you options. Hey, man, I can give it to you right now if you do X, Y, and Z. You're always supposed to say no to the X, Y, and Z. So we growing this channel organically, man. We approaching 15,100 subscribers and investors. It is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be at all times. You know what I mean? Ask your favorite blogger to show you what they do for a living. A lot of these dudes got jobs. They just scared to show y'all what they do for a living. They scared to show y'all how they really getting their money, because YouTube is good money, but it's only a couple of blogs that's really getting money. I would say academics and a few other ones, but the rest of these dudes ain't getting no money on YouTube. Ask them what they do for a living. We getting money over here, baby. We getting money over here. I'm disappointed. You know, I've been disappointed in the Prince family ever since this thing happened with Takeoff, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. I never really looked into their family. I had nothing, never really. I knew a little bit like everybody else, the Mob Ties, Houston, and Jay Prince is big dog in the game. But to watch Takeoff lose his life like that, bro, I've been highly disappointed in these boys. And ever since that happened, they just been disappointing me. You know, it's a disappointment every time I see them. Every time I see him, it's a disappointment, dog. And this $1 million worth of game interview was another disappointment. They exposing themselves. They exposing their hand. They trying so hard not to expose themselves that they are literally exposing themselves right before our eyes, my G. Something is about to happen. So listen, man, you can tap in, you can tap out, but you know my slogan. You know what I suggest, and I suggest you tap in. I suggest you tap into this grown man business. I suggest you tap into this grown man content at all times. You already know what it is. Straight off the brick into the bottles. Straight off the brick into the bottle. Straight raw, pure, uncut, no extras, no preservatives. We not sugarcoat. We not dressing nothing up. Jay Prince family, Dollar Tree, Cotton Boys, giving it to you straight raw, my G. It is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be at all times. But I got to give it to you straight raw. And it's nothing you can do. We got a couple of stains on your jacket. Duke the jeweler. These stains cannot be removed, my G. These stains can. The only, you know, you would have to duct top. Listen, you would have to gift wrap somebody for these boys. Hey, we found out who did it. This is the guy who did it. We gonna gift wrap him. Here's your gift. That's the only that might make us look. But anything other than that, man, we not looking at y'all no different, man. I would suggest y'all stop doing podcasts, man. It's a terrible look for your face. It's a terrible look, my G. Yeah, I would suggest y'all stop doing podcasts, man. Stop talking about the situation. Get a lawyer. You're gonna need one. So it is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be, man. Salute to everybody that's in the building. Salute to everybody that's in the chat. Be on the lookout for that rats versus mice video. Rats versus mice. You got these dudes talking about something. I ain't hanging out with a rat, but I hang out with a mice though. I ain't gonna hang out with 1090 Jake. I don't like 1090 Jake, but I like Haas. That's my dog. That's why NYC is infested. New York City is infested with rodents. It's overly populated with rats and rodents, my G's. Rats everywhere in New York City. Because the OGs like to pick and choose who they want to hang. They want to pick and choose who they jacking when they come to ratting or not. It is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be, man. I got video of Haas. Yo, I'm gonna post a video. I got video of Haas literally giving names, bro. People, yo, it's crazy. Let me see if I can get around this car real quick, man. I'm one of the eight. Look, I'm one of the eight. Yeah. You'll see. I'm sure. A lot of people seen this video. I just clipped it up real nice and neat. But yeah, he was on DJ Academics. He did an interview with DJ Academics, man, where he was literally telling the getaway drivers in a murder case. Hassan Campbell was given it. He gave the names of the two guys that went. Now, mind you, Haas went to jail for the body. The getaway drivers got away, but there's no statute of limitation when it comes to homicide. So the getaway drivers can still be prosecuted. They could be prosecuted today for conspiracy because he's so. Just be on the lookout for the video, man. Salute to everybody that's tapped into the channel, man. Much love. I'll be going live tonight, and we gonna wrap some more. So it is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be.